to go down to the bottom lane to make it a 3 versus 2 on the bottom. And the outside line has just lost all of its momentum. Everyone going down to the bottom lane now. They'll be getting ready to reset for the next couple of laps, as we're going to have 3 laps left to run when Sanchez gets across the start-finish line here. But it's going to be interesting to see whether Harmon is going to push Sanchez to the win or whether he is going to make a run at...
Oh, Corey, there's a lot more to racing than just winning. I mean, taking the race by a full lap, where's the entertainment in that? I just wanted to give the folks a little sizzle. Am I sorry I didn't have a crew chief? No, I'm not, because I'm a one-man show.
I ripped right front out again.
Oh man, keep your chin up, because, you know, completely different season. The next race you run is a complete race. And, you know, you never know what can happen race to race. You know, you could find yourself having a stroke of good luck and figuring out exactly how to drive these cars in the future. But before we let you go, man, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to here tonight? Brian Chambliss on the win. We're just going to quickly go have a look at what happened to Hernandez here at the very end. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the thrill show that is the Output Racing League. It's grand finale night, and that means only one thing. It's the Gladiator 160 here at the Auto Club Speedway on the Aussie Sim Commentator channel for the Output Racing League. And as you can see, we've got cars out on track. Looks like they've just finished doing a little pit party here. And we're going to have 23 cars to take on the racing action, but realistically, only 3 cars mathematically with a chance of taking home the title tonight. Now, for some people, it's going to have to be a good result in both the stage and in the race. And for others, they just got to hope for everything they can get. So our 3 combatants is Mr. Scott Rickard in the 05 car. He's currently leading the standings by 1 point over the 2 of Jonathan Hernandez. Now, the other cat in this fight is going to be the 16 of Kyle McCoy. He's had a very strong run here in the second half of the season, but the chase has not really been going his way. Now, for McCoy to get in this, I think he's 10 points off coming into this race. He's going to have to get a very good stage position here, and he's going to have to hope that Scott and Jonathan fall off towards the end of the race. But we'll have to wait and see how everything's going to unfold. At the moment, it's practice on the track, and we have 19 cars that have currently taken times. It's Hennessy, Rickard, McCoy, Cook, Campbell, Harmon, Baylor, Masia, Cross, and Hernandez as the top 10. So 3 main title combatants are in there. Then there's Sanchez, Pizzacchemi, Horton, Perkins, Marquez, Niederhelm, Champeau, Weekly, and Shoemaker down to 19th who have completed times. Watson, Collins, Sisler, and Griezmann who have not participated and have not made a lap yet. It's going to be very interesting to see how things go here. It's a 2-mile track, and I think we're doing 80 laps, which makes this a 160-mile race. And I do believe that is the longest race that we've run this season as far as distance is concerned. This whole time we've been looking at the 38 Thomas Harmon there. He's currently in the 6th position. Last time at the moment actually sits with Andrew Hennessy of 41.783. He's in that blue 94 car just there behind Thomas. As the double O of Jonas Marquez tries to get in on this little stoush. But it is all to play for at the moment for our guys up towards the front. And it should be very interesting. I'm hearing there's a lot of feeling about the way the car is handling around this track tonight. So it could be interesting how everything works out. We might get a couple of cautions. We currently just got a little bit over 10 minutes left in practice. And you can see most people actually running the high line around here. So it looks like the momentum of the high line is going to be the way to go. Some people are still driving it down low. You can see the way the rubber has been laid down. It's mostly in the bottom 2 lanes. But you can see just there, Hennessy running the high line. He did get a little bit sideways there though. That's what we're going to have to keep an eye on, is people getting sideways in the corner, especially if they're running the high line. It's going to be very interesting to see how our 3 title combatants are going to come up on this. And I don't think any of them has actually won a title here at Output Racing League just yet. I know Hernandez has come very close a couple times. but he's never actually taken out the gold. And we've got Scott Rickard and Kyle McCoy, who are both, fairly newcomers to the league. And I think this is actually their first full season here with the Output Racing League. So the fact that they're here fighting for the championship in their first full seasons, absolutely fantastic. I can't wait to see how they go when it comes to crunch time. James Watson has just put down a lap time, but it's only good enough for 19th at the moment. He's 1.1 off the pace. And just having a look at the lap times here, the top 11 separated by less than half a second. That's crazy sauce right there. Also looks like the draft is playing a really big piece in the practice here. Most people getting a lot of draft help to get some really good lap time. Just looking at the way that Matt Horton running the high line there, it's pretty cool. Pushing him like right up next to the fence as into the pit entry come the majority of drivers. And it looks like there was a big lockup there for Thad Faylor. So pit stops could be interesting later on if we do get green flag pit stops. And there's no one on the track at all. So it looks like we might be getting ready for another pit party here by the looks of things. Still 7 minutes left in practice, so they could get away with a quick one. A little door there from Thomas onto James. I thought James was going to give Thomas a little bump there. Oh, it still might come. He's sitting closer. Just inching towards the bumper of Thomas Harmon. I don't even know why it's locked onto Thomas. It is set to focus on crashes. There we go. Now we're starting to shuffle through some other people. But here we go, the 2x2 formation as they come out of turn 4. Get into the restart zone. And they're racing. Just 5.5 minutes left on the clock. Oh, someone in the back just got booted out the way. I think that's a 78, Brian Pizzicami. Scott Rickard making a move immediately to the inside of Thad Faylor, who looks like he's received a bump on the back. Hernandez trying to stick with Rickard. Oh, very loose. was James Watson in the 39 car. He was just searching for any kind of grip there. And 3 wide, he's going to go. Saw Ken Campbell was in the middle. I didn't see who was on the bottom. Might be just like, oh, as Watson's in the fence, Rick had nowhere to go. Oh, and Thomas Harmon's also gone around. Drama here. And McCoy also caught up in that. There's Pizzacami trying to get to the inside of Baylor. See, the inside run here on fresher tyres looks to be the go. Nice little side job there for Pizzacami. And see Hernandez right at the front of this little pack. Now he'll be hoping something like that happens to Scott and to Kyle in the race. So it can be an easy cakewalk for him. But I don't think he's going to have it his own way. Especially with the way races at tracks like this usually end up. They're usually really nice, long green flag races. But the setup could be the key ingredient to things going sideways. So there's a 78 Brian Piscami with his brand new, as of last week, paint scheme. Built by none other than Mr. Chris Champeau from Champ Speed Shop. Out in the front of this pack is the 12 of Chris Champeau. He's not just a decent painter, he's also a pretty damn good steerer of a race car. Everyone kind of playing nicely here in this last couple of minutes. They've all just single filed out, and I imagine this is probably going to be the way the race goes. Just by looking at it, I don't think we're going to see too terribly much difference between this kind of racing that we're seeing right now and the kind of racing we're going to see in just a few minutes. Speaking of just a few minutes, we are going to head to a commercial break now. And when we come back, we will have the results of qualifying and the starting grid for the grand finale race here for Season 1 2024 of the Output Racing League. The Gladiator 160 right here on the Aussie Sim Commentator channel. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Racing action will be coming up very shortly. Welcome back. It is time. Qualifying has just ticked down to 0. It's time for us to see the grid for our grand finale race here, Season 1 2024 of the Output Racing League season. Once it loads up, there we go. Ken Campbell will be starting on the pole. On his outside will be the 94 of Andrew Hennessy out of P2. P3 will have the 16 of Kyle McCoy, and the 4 of Scott. Oh, sorry, the 05 of Scott Rickard will be out of P4. The two title contenders there. Chris Champeau in the 12 will be out of P5. Thomas Harmon in the 38 be out of P6. P7 will see the 7 of Kyle Kraus, with P8 the 68 of Andrew Griesbaum. In position number 9, we'll have the 93 of Matt Sisler with the 10. Oh, sorry, the 13 of Travis Massia out of 10. There's Austin Collins, he'll be out of 11th, with Andrew Perkins be out of P12. P13 will see the 66 of Sam Niederhelm, and then James Watson, 39, will be out of 14th. There's Jonathan Hernandez, our other title hopeful, out of 15th, with Corey Cook out of position number 16. Matt Horton will be out of 17th, with Thad Faylor out of position 18 in this one. 19th will see the 4 of Jaron Sanchez, and 20th will be the 10 of Caleb Weegley. We've got Bryce Shoemaker in 21st. Jonas Marquez will be out of 22nd position. And wrapping things up, 23rd will be the 78 of Brian Pizzicami. That is the 23 starters and drivers for this race. And it looks like we might be missing a couple of them here at the moment. Have to wait and see. Corey Cook hasn't made the grid. We've got Jaron Sanchez who hasn't made the grid. Caleb Weekley and Bryce Shoemaker all not making the grid for this race. So that's going to throw things for a little bit of a loop here. Throws out the scoreboard ever so slightly as well. Alright, here we go as they come out of turns 3 and 4. The stage is set for our grand finale race here from the Auto Club Speedway. It's the Gladiator 160. Pace car is going to make that hard left turn into pit lane. First start is on green. All the restarts will be on the leader inside of the restart zone. And we're off and racing for 80 laps around this man-made marvel that is the Auto Club Speedway, which these days no longer looks like this. And immediately the 15 of Ken Campbell takes the lead. Straight down to his inside is the 94 of Andrew Hennessy. And the second row has been broken up by the 38 of Thomas Harmon, who tried to take them 3 wide up the middle, couldn't quite get there, as Campbell, using the outside line there in 1 and 2, will take the advantage and take the lead. The 05 and the 16 still battling it out there for the 3rd position. Those two are two of the main ones in the fight. The other one, Jonathan Hernandez, who started all the way down in 15th. And it looks like he's made 2 positions here since the start, sitting in the 13th position. As now Scott Rickard looking to the outside of Andrew Hennessy to try and take over the 2nd running position. You see the 12 of Chris Champeau right up there as well. The 16 of Kyle McCoy. Thomas Harmon's in there as well. And look at that. Behind these guys, they've all single filed out for now. And Hernandez has already made it into P11. He was 13th coming out of 4. He was 12th coming across the line. And he's 11th coming out of turn 2. As here goes Kyle McCoy now to the inside of Scott Rickard. And it looks like he's going to get that position made very quickly. Scott fighting right back on the inside. There's a battle behind as well between Champeau and Hennessy. But it's not as close as this little battle as Scott gets up there, side drafts his friend a little bit. But falls in behind, does not go for the move. Now they make their way out of turn stream 4 for the third time. Now this is where the high-speed chess game will really take effect. All about looking after the tyres from here. And whoever can make them last the longest. The one with the best tyres is going to be the one that'll probably prevail here tonight. Got some side-by-side action a little bit deeper in the pack here. That's just behind the 13 of Travis Amasio. There's a 7 of Kyle Kraus. Trying to work to the outside of Sisler. Fast lap at the moment set by Ken Campbell of 42.023. And Brian Pizzicami in the background going 3 wide, if you don't mind. A little bit more battling up towards the front as well. Jonathan Hernandez. Excuse me, sir. How did you end up in P7 already? I was not expecting that at all. He snuck up on it. The battling in the back still continuing on. And I think I saw the 1 of Austin Collins getting into this battle as well. He did indeed. They've also got the 11 of Andrew Perkins in this little battle. But right now, Jonathan Hernandez, the biggest booty shaker, started in 15th, gone up 8 positions to be currently in P7. So we see the 7, Kyle Kraus, trying to get back to the inside of Austin Collins here. And I saw a little bit of defensive driving there for the 13 of Travis Massia on Matt Sisler. Looks like Sisler might get re-enveloped into this little battle that's going on, although they've just evened out a little bit. Now we're set to just look wherever we can find some entertainment. There's a 78 of Brian Pizzicami getting to the inside of James Watson in the background there. Cameras focus on Kyle Kraus. As it looks like the 11 of Perkins struggling a little bit here. Pizzicami catching right up to him. Ken Campbell has over a half a second gap over Chris Champeau, who's battling with Kyle McCoy for the 2nd position. 5 Scott Rickard right up in there as well. Just behind these guys, you can see there's Hennessy, Harmon, and the 2 of Jonathan Hernandez. As I said, Hernandez started way back in 15th. He's right here on the tail of Thomas Harmon. They're coming out of turn number 2. A lot of sideways action going on behind these guys. As it looks like the tyres starting to burn off a little bit. These three just trying to run the low line, trying to keep their tyres under them. And we'll see if they can manage to do so. Thomas Harmon now goes for the move on Andrew Hennessy, pulls to the inside. Moves being made ahead of them as well. So I think Rickard and McCoy are battling. But it's not as good as this little battle here for the, what's this, the 5th position. As these guys single file back out. Harmon just couldn't quite get the run on the inside of 3 and 4. And we're only 10.5 laps down in this race. There's a lot of moves being made, which is crazy. I can confirm Cook, Sanchez, Weekly and Shoemaker all out. All suffering terminal damage in practice and are unable to continue for the race itself. They exhausted all their backup cars, of which teams usually have about 10. 12 if you're Scott Rickard. It looks like Hernandez is just starting to drop off this pack a little bit, as Pizzicami was embroiled in a big battle back here with Austin Collins. Collins was looking all around him trying to get around, and there's more battling up ahead of these guys. As Sisler gets to the inside of Travis Massey, they're about to go 3 wide because there is Kyle Kraus as well, but Kraus couldn't quite get there, and the momentum on the side of Massey getting him around Sisler. As Massey trying to get the draft from Griesbaum in front of him. And it looks like Massey is just trying to give the dirty air to Sisler there. Gave the clean air to Kraus, who got loose, and the dirty air to Sisler to try and slow him down and get him tight. It keeps them side by side behind him. Keeps him skipping away in front. I saw on the standings there, Sam Niederholm experimenting with some alternate dimensions. As Kraus now gets to the outside of Massia. Massia shuts that down, closes the door quite firmly. And they single file out now. Have a look at how things are shaping up towards the front. And it looks like Campbell has amassed himself a full second lead over 16 of Kyle McCoy, but side by side is the 12 and the 05. So they're battling it out here. And it looks like Champo's going to take the advantage at the moment. But look at how much more ground he has to cover running that high line compared to Scott Rickard. And Rickard slides up the track, takes over the position. But Chris Champo, with all the momentum, looks like he wants to take it to the inside, but I think he lifted. So all that momentum gone by the fact that he had to lift for Scott Rickard, who pulled a really tight slide job there. And now it's advantage Rickard, but here comes Champ once more. Using all the momentum and a little bit of draft. Gets right up on the back of Rickard. This time, both Rickard and McCoy run the high line, which gave absolutely no clean air to Chris Champeau. Now Champ has to deal with the 38 of Thomas Harmon. Jonathan Hernandez just happily sitting on the back of this pack at the moment. He's not really pushing too hard. I think that might be a fatal flaw because he's got to start making some moves if he wants to catch these guys up and get some points on them for the stage end. As here goes Chris Champeau now with the momentum. It's pulled to the outside of Scott Rickard. Now Scott's going to have to pull another slide job if he wants to get up in front of Chris Champeau. And Chris is probably not going to be able to dodge underneath him as here comes the 38 of Thomas Harmon. Chris does have the momentum of the high line, but he doesn't have the room to do anything with it because of Thomas's good run there through the low line in 1 and 2. Now Scott dives down low, gives all the dirty air to Thomas Harmon, which gives the momentum bonus back to Chris Champeau. And Chris uses that to maintain position in front of Thomas. Now when I'm talking about the chess battles on track, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Looks like Jonas Marquez is not having too much fun out there. He's dropped off the back of the pack here a little bit. Currently 8 seconds off the lead and 1 second off Sam Niederhelm in 18th. Andrew Hennessy right up in the middle of this battle as well. Jonathan Hernandez just still sitting there at the back chilling as Kyle McCoy is reeling in Ken Campbell at the moment. The gap's gone down to 0.7 of a second between Campbell and McCoy as Scott Rickard takes the extreme outside the Larson line. Teals 3 wide with Harmon and Champeau. Harmon was all the way down on the bottom. And Fowler and Niederhelm have dropped to the very back of the pack. Not sure what happened there. System says they made contact and went off track. So maybe something happened coming out of turn 4. A little too busy looking at the battle that was going on here with these guys for the third. This is now Scott Rickard's chance to try and run away from these guys battling side by side behind him. He's just got to use that draft properly from Kyle McCoy in front. As we're now 20 laps down in this race. And I think that's the perfect time for us to go to a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we'll be going until we get some green flag pit stops. So make sure you guys stay tuned. More action from the Gladiator 160 be coming up in just a few seconds. Welcome back to the Gladiator 160 for the grand finale of Season 1 2024, the Output Racing League, here on the Aussie Sim Commentator channel. And this is the view from out the back of our leader, Ken Campbell. As you can see, there's Kyle McCoy right there. He is only 0.45 of a second behind. And then the big pack back there racing for third. You can see they're using multiple different lines as they're going through turns 1 and 2. It looked like for a second there Hennessy was actually up in the fence, but I don't think he was. We return to normal camera angles here. And let's go have a sneaky peek at that battle pack back there. As the 94, Andrew Hennessy on the inside now, Chris Champeau. Thomas Harmon during the break has snuck up past Scott Rickard and taken over the third position. And you see Jonathan Hernandez trying to look for anything he can get as well. As now he sneaks to the inside of Hennessy. Hennessy was a little bit balked there by the 12 of Chris Champeau, who was also running the high line. But look at Jonathan Hernandez goes, wow, what a move from the 94 of Hennessy. Absolutely nothing in it, and he just somehow picked the gap perfectly to get himself in front of Jonathan Hernandez. Hennessy now trying to fight with the 12 of Chris Champeau. Pulls to the inside. Got a good run going on here, actually. See if he can do anything with it. They stay side by side going down the back straight. Champ was a little bit balked there by the 05 of Scott Rickard, who goes down and immediately defends from the low line and Hennessy. Hennessy, a well-experienced hand at these games. And now he's using it as the draft. As he slips back up, they go back single file. He couldn't quite get around Champ. Champ right on the tail of Scott Rickard and almost up and into the fence. And that's exactly what Hennessy wanted, was for Rickard to defend from Champeau. And now Hennessy has to side draft like his life depends on it. They're side by side behind as well. Almost contact between Chris Champeau and Andrew Hennessy, as Rickard once again goes all the way down to the bottom to try and block Hennessy's run. Slides all the way back up to try and give the dirty air to the 12 of Chris Champeau, who I swear just tapped the wall coming out of turn 4. The racing action is electric right now, as Hennessy somehow fits into that gap between the two cars. Dives right back down low once more. Oh, and that time, definitely Chris Champeau got into the fence. He got really tight in behind Scott Rickard, who now falls down behind Andrew Hennessy. Hennessy's going to now try and track down the 38 of Thomas Harmon. One of his biggest rivals in Output Racing League. Because it's normally Hennessy and Harmon who have the biggest battles. It looks like Jonathan Hernandez just still stuck back there in 7th. Hasn't really been able to do much with anything, as the 12, Chris Champeau, once again catches the fence in the middle of 1 and 2. That allowed Hernandez to catch up a little bit, but he couldn't quite get the perfect run going. Sam Niederhelm once more, experimenting with alternate dimensions. And it looks like my scoring was a little bit balked there for a second. I had one thing reading that Niederhelm was ahead of Thad, and the other thing reading that Thad was ahead of Niederhelm. But it looks like for the moment things have just calmed down a bit here. Although not so much, as Kyle Kraus is looking at a battle ahead of him between Matt Horton and Austin Collins. Horton comes right up, squeezes Austin towards the fence, going into the corner. Opening up his corner as much as he possibly could. Kraus gets a really good seat for this one. Now these guys single file out. Kraus catches the fence. Gonna slow him down a little bit. My cat's trying his best to destroy things on the desk. Now things have just really chilled out a bit here, as we're about 8 laps away from the pit window. Some will probably pit early to try and get that fresher tyre advantage. And times have slipped right back from the fast laps. Fast lap at the moment is a 41.889 set by Kyle Kraus. And current times about 2, maybe 3 seconds slower. So the undercut could absolutely be pivotal in this race. We now look at Matt Horton. Oh, as Griesbaum catches the fence coming out of 2. He's on the super slow-mo right now, as everyone's catching up to him. Looks like he's got it recovered now. He's 3 wide with Kraus and Pizzakemi. Now he's 1 wide with himself. It's Kraus and Pizzakemi both file back into line. In front though, Austin Collins battling it out with Matt Sisler. They're battling for 8th. And just up the road ahead of them is Jonathan Hernandez, as Griesbaum under full attack from Kraus and Pizzakemi right now. You can see Sisler also battling it out really hard with the one of Austin Collins. And yeah, I'm expecting pit stops here very shortly. Within the next 5.5 laps, we should see pit stops starting. And 10 laps for them to probably finish, honestly. Don't expect anyone to be running too long with how slow these times are compared to their fast laps. Just for context, last lap, Kyle Kraus ran a time exactly 2 seconds slower than his fastest lap. As we now have just 45 laps to go. Collins all over the back of Sisler, almost getting into him. But sideways, having to check up, making sure that he didn't get into the back bumper. And that's invited Horton up on his inside. Griesbaum is there too. Horton right down to the inside of Sisler as well. Griesbaum trying to get to the inside of Collins. As behind them, Pizzacami has gotten in front of both Masia and of Kraus. Horton very skillfully puts himself up into the 8th position. McCoy has very slowly and very meticulously been closing in the gap on Ken Campbell as well. 0.4 of a second between those two. As this battle is not quite over with yet for the 8th position. Zissler got right back to the inside of Horton. Look at him side drafting as they go along the front straight here. Just sneaks into the gap. Here goes Austin now to the inside. That means that Zissler can't do the big dive into turn 1. He thought about it, then realized that he had a car on his inside. Now, what can Collins do? Can he hold on to it? Answer is no, as Griezmann just had too much momentum there with that outside line. Horton takes the line away from Austin. As the 78 of Pizzacami is getting into this battle as well. Griezmann has gone into the pit, so too has Perkins. So pit stops have already started. We also have James Watson in the pits. But this is a little bit earlier than what I thought was going to happen for pit stops. But the thought of the undercut might be just too juicy for some to ignore. Now let's see if we have any takers on this lap. And the answer to that at the moment is a resounding no. We'll have to see how this is going to affect those guys as their races continue on. Griezmann comes out of the pits right in the middle of this battle. Champeau tries diving to the inside of Griezmann. Griezmann just powering around the outside with these fresh tyres. And he is going to be a man on the mission right now. We have officially reached the halfway point, and Travis Masia now pulls into the pits. There's another taker with him. I think it's Sam Niederhelm, and it is. So now we should start seeing a flurry of activity in the pit lane. Champeau and Failer are in the pits. McCoy is falling behind Harmon. Not sure what happened there. Pizzacami's just come into the pits. He wants those new tyres and he wants them now. See which other takers we're going to get. And if we get a caution as well, it's another very real possibility. As Campbell, Hennessy, McCoy, they're all in the pits. So too is Hernandez. That could be pivotal. Harmon and Rickard still out on the track. Baylor is still in the pits as well. He must be getting damage fixed. That's the only thing I can think of. We've got Harmon, Horton, Collins, and Sisler in now. Oh, Horton's out. Something's happened to Horton here in the pit lane. Let's see what fate bestows Horton as he attempted his pit entry. Here he goes, coming into turn 4. So he's on the brakes hard to try and get down into the pit lane here. Heads up driving from the 11 of Perkins, who manages to miss him. He gets on the line. Doesn't look like he's unsettled yet, although he's definitely going very left. I think he's made his mistake already. Oh, yeah, he's sliding. He's big time sliding. And bam! Straight into the inside fence. Oh, that is not good. Baylor is also out of the race. Not sure what's happened to Thad. But that is the way the race has ended for the 88 of Matt Horton. As I'm just trying to get onto anybody else so we can get a proper camera angle going once more. There we go. There's Brian Pizzicemi, as he has pitted previously. Collins and Sisler are in. And Scott Rickard is in now. He stayed out to lead a lap. Kyle Kraus is in. Marquez is in. And let's see how this is going to affect where everyone is at. And it looks like Scott Rickard, he's still scored as the leader and won, but Andrew Griesbaum, with his early pit stop, has come into the pits. Not coming to the pits, he's coming to the lead of this race. Ken Campbell has now just retaken the lead back. What can Campbell do to try and stretch his legs here and pull away? See Chris Champeau back there in third. But back and forth is Kyle McCoy. Hernandez still mired in the 7th position. Champo still holding on to second though over McCoy. And McCoy's just taken the high line to try and take it. As I clicked on the wrong person there. There we go. McCoy really trying to get that momentum building. As Kyle Kraus, I think he has set a faster lap time than what he did previously. Currently a 41.809. As to the inside goes the 16 of McCoy. And to P2 he goes. Now we might get a little bit of a battle for the lead here. Now they are on the same lap run as Campbell and McCoy. Both got the exactly same age tyres. Scott Rickard, who stayed out an extra lap compared to everyone else, he's mired down in the 12th position right now. So he's going to have a lot of work to do if he wants to try and win this championship. He was only separated from Hernandez by 1 point coming into this. They definitely collected a decent amount of points in the stage end, which we don't have a caution for. And he's led a lap, so that's an extra bonus point. So we'll have to see how this is going to end up for him. But at the moment, I think the winner of the championship, if things end as they are, would be Kyle McCoy, who's now just pulled to the inside of Ken Campbell. Time for these guys to start battling by the looks of things for the lead of this race. Campbell squeezes him down hard on corner exit. Manages to stay ahead. And it looks like we might get a 30-lap slobber knocker here for the lead of this race. As McCoy, oh, he thought he was going to go to the inside, moves to the outside. Made Campbell fall for it. Side by side they go once more. This time McCoy gets clear. Oh, what a slide job. Absolutely just cut off the nose of Campbell there. That was a textbook slide job. Someone text Dale Jr. We got to get him onto that. Now what is Campbell going to respond with after that short slider that was sent his way from McCoy? And what is Scott Rickard going to do? He's already gone up one position into P11. Jonathan Hernandez has made his way around Griesbaum into P6. And traffic could yet still be a factor in this race. As we just completed lap 53. Which means just 27 laps to go. And right down to the inside goes Ken Campbell. My apologies. Got too excited for my own voice. Side by side they go down the back straight. Oh, and look at the defensive move there. The defense from Kyle McCoy. They both go right down to the white line at the bottom of 3 and 4. Neither of them are playing around right now. This is some serious racing. Campbell now just trying to run any different line he can to get around McCoy. But this is some excellent racing for the lead of this race right now. The stonewall defense of McCoy versus the all-out attack of Campbell as he gets right up to the bumper. Trying to make McCoy loose coming out of turn 4. He didn't get loose as now down to the apron goes McCoy. That's going to wear out his right front a little bit more. But now here goes Ken Campbell all the way down to the bottom of 1 and 2. And is he going to slide back up? He is. He goes for a slightly less aggressive slide than what the 16 of McCoy did, as McCoy gets right back to his inside. Now this is some real racing right now. These two putting it all out on the table. As McCoy tried to get him clear, couldn't quite get there. Campbell gets back to his bumper. And Campbell with the momentum. Going to draw him back side by side. McCoy all the way down on the apron to the white line of the grass. They both send it off into turns 1 and 2. Now that was McCoy's chance to slide up once more. He didn't get there. Campbell, he's going to have all the momentum advantage here. And the other thing too is with this battling between these two, this is probably going to draw Hennessy and Harmon back into this battle. Scott Rickard is back up into P9. So Rickard back in with a shot of being the champ once more. Campbell now pulls a little bit of a gap. It's not much. It was 3/10 briefly. McCoy drafts back up to his bumper. I think while we've got this little bit of separation, we're going to take this advantage to go to a very quick break. So make sure you stay tuned. In 60 seconds time, we'll be back to the end of the Gladiator 160 right here from the Auto Club Speedway. Welcome back to the grand finale of Season 1 2024 here in the Output Racing League, the Gladiator 160, right here from the Auto Club Speedway on the Aussie Sim Commentator channel. While we're at break, Kyle McCoy tried to pull to the inside of Campbell, couldn't quite get there. Now he's lost a little bit of ground once more, and he's going to try and catch back up and initiate an overtake again, as I can see Andrew Perkins is back in the pits. I'm not sure what happened there to Perkins, but he's definitely gone to the pits once more. I think he's been struggling with grip this entire second run, as Campbell and McCoy getting ready to battle it out. See in the background there, Jonathan Hernandez has gotten around Chris Champeau, moved his way into P5. As it sits right now with Rickard in 7th. Rickard absolutely has this sewn up. McCoy's got to try and hold on to P2 here. But the point situation is very tight. Now, it's not a big win for Rickard to be there in 7th, but it is a decent one. I think it's only to the tune of like 3 points. It's just up ahead of these guys. 2 laps down is Andrew Perkins. But he's got fresh tyres on, so he's not going to be a factor in these guys racing. As side by side they go once more, coming out of turn 4. Remember, this is for all the chips. But right now, Ken Campbell, he doesn't care about the championship. He's not a factor in it. All he wants to do is win this race and put a stamp on the season. That has been pretty damn good for Campbell. And he'll be looking to take the momentum from this race if he can take it out and put it towards the start of next season. As here he goes once more to the inside. He's not really going to get right up there. He's only going to get to the bumper. And very quickly falls back into line. But the gap between Hennessy and McCoy has been coming down. Been watching it ever so slightly. The gap between them is only about 7/10 right now. And all this battling that McCoy is doing with Campbell is bringing them back into it. Scott Rickard has dropped back down to 9th. Vizicami and Collins have repassed him for 7th and 8th. So Rickard back down to 9th. Riesbaum 2 seconds back from Rickard. I think he's going to be a non-factor in that little race as Rickard gets back around Collins. Let's go check out that battle. Rickard, there he is on the outside of Collins. Now Collins will be able to fight back, or is he going to be stuck behind Rickard once more? I think at the moment the tyres are in that that particular state where they're just a little bit funky to drive on for some people. Some would call this the fun time of the race. Others say, shut up, Corey. I don't get it. But let's go back to our leaders now, the 15 and the 16. As the gap between them is very close, but here comes Andrew Hennessy and Thomas Harmon. Gap now half a second between McCoy and Hennessy. It is literally all about what these three can do right now. In fact, these four. If Harmon has anything to say about it, he'll want to finish the season on a high with a race win. This hasn't been a great season for Harmon. In fact, I think statistically speaking, this would be Harmon's worst season on record. Another thing too is Ken Campbell has led most of these laps. Now, I don't want to start bringing in statistics about that, but I think if he falls prey to any of these three behind him, this will be the most laps someone led just to finish P2. That's if they do pass him there anyway. And that's a whole nother thing in itself. So we start lap 69. Nice. To the outside goes McCoy. He couldn't get there, but Thomas Harmon in the background, getting underneath of Hennessy. Harmon with a really good run there off turn 2. Hennessy with the momentum on the outside, trying to pull himself past Harmon. Harmon's still there on the inside, a little puff of smoke. The car got on-weighted on the inside tyres. And Harmon just tried to sneak up, couldn't quite get there. Hennessy's in the fence. Might have been a tiny little bit of contact between the two. Now Harmon, clearly in P3. The battle is on for the lead once more. It's to the inside goes McCoy. Campbell trying to use the momentum on the outside to pull back ahead. McCoy not pulling the wild slide job that we saw from him earlier. And that's actually allowed Campbell to get right back clear, just about, of McCoy. See, Campbell's not using all of the high line there. He's just going slightly higher than McCoy, trying to pinch him down, trying to make McCoy slow up a little bit more. And at the same time, still have that little bit more momentum than him by running the slightly higher line as we've got 10 laps to go. And this side-by-side battling is bringing back Thomas Harmon into this battle. Doesn't look like there's any damage on the Hennessy car. We'll have to wait and see how it's going to be for him as the race continues on. And I can tell you right now, these two are having an absolute ball fighting out for the lead. They've been fighting for it for 20 laps so far. 9 laps to go. It's still anyone's race. And with Scott Rickard being in 9th, I do believe this would be his championship as well by just 1 point over Jonathan Hernandez. And it would only be just a couple of points back to Kyle McCoy. Ken Campbell absolutely has the most laps of the race, most laps led in this race sewn up. Thomas Harmon almost in striking distance here of Kyle McCoy. Jonathan Hernandez just running a very lonely race back there in P5. It looks like it's still a four-way battle for the lead of this race. As there's now just 6 laps to go. 6.5 laps, sorry, when they get to the middle of the back straight. Sometimes I forget just how big this track is. It's a 2-mile intermediate track. Could very easily be classified as a super speedway if they gave it a little bit more banking. But single file these guys go. 6 laps left. Let's have a look through the pack a little bit here. There's Chris Champeau. We'll go back to our leaders. Oh, loose was McCoy. Here comes Thomas Harmon. He's got the momentum run. Can he make a move on McCoy? He cannot. He didn't get close enough. 5 laps left. Thomas Harmon trying to sneak to the outside of McCoy. He's just got his bumper in. McCoy got him cleared, diving down to the inside of turn 1. But Harmon not giving up the fight. Uses all the momentum of the outside lane. And he's just got his bumper in once more. McCoy almost closed it off. That could have been disaster for both of them. But they're both very good drivers. Sam Niederhelm experimenting with alternate dimensions once more. Just 4 laps to go. McCoy now back in third. And here comes Hennessy now to the inside of McCoy. So McCoy's tyres might have just about given up the ghost. Laps winding down very quickly. Ken Campbell, the absolute GOAT right now. He has half a second over Thomas Harmon. The top 4 have just absolutely strung out. "25 laps. Sorry. 35 laps. No, 25. Of McCoy and Campbell battling it out for the lead. And this looks like it's going to be the way it ends, as McCoy slipped back to 4th behind Andrew Hennessy. Jonathan Hernandez is still sitting there in 5th. He would need to pass McCoy to tie in points. I think on countback it would go to Rickard. 2 laps left. Remember, I'm just speculating on these points here. I don't know for sure. We go through turns 3 and 4 for the penultimate time. And we're going to get the white flag here, so it's going to be white flag. Last lap. Last chance to win it or wear it for Ken Campbell for the race. And for all of our top 3 in the points for the championship. The final lap, Season 1, 2024 of the Output Racing League. It all comes down to this as they come out of turn 2. And Campbell absolutely unbothered by Thomas Harmon, who I think just got a little bit loose coming out of turn 2. Hennessy and McCoy not close enough to issue a challenge. So we go into turns 3 and 4 for the final time. Your winner of the Gladiator 160 here from the Auto Club Speedway is going to be the 15 of Ken Campbell. P2 Thomas Harmon, P3 just Andrew Hennessy over Kyle McCoy, Jonathan Hernandez in 5th. We're just going to wait for everyone to cross the finish line. Then we'll see our race results. So there's your winner, Ken Campbell. Clean and clear winner here tonight. Led the majority of the laps right from the outset. Qualified on pole. Did it the way he needed to do it. As everyone has now crossed the start-finish line. Ken Campbell, Thomas Harmon, Andrew Hennessy, Kyle McCoy, Jonathan Hernandez, Chris Champo, Austin Collins, Brian Pizzicami, Scott Rickard in 9th, Matt Sisler in 10th. There's Massio, Griesbaum, Kraus, Watson, Niederhelm, Marquez, Perkins. They are all the finishers, and Horton and Baylor, both DNF. Cook, Sanchez, Weekly, and Shoemaker, unfortunately DNSs from this race. You see in the background, celebratory burnouts well and truly underway there for the 15 of Ken Campbell, and joining him, I can see the 05 of Scott Rickard. So Scott believes he's won the championship with his 9th place finish here tonight. And I just have the confirmation now. Scott Rickard is your Season 1 2024 Output Racing League champion. Well done, Scott. Well done, Ken. It's been a fantastic season, but we're going to go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll have our driver reviews coming up just for you. Alrighty, now it is time for our driver reviews. Unfortunately, this one is not live, it's recorded once again. But Andrew Hennessy, our third place finisher here tonight, he just put up a good solid race, was up towards the front for the majority of the race. Didn't really fall back at all. He had that one moment where he went to the fence, but he recovered from it like an absolute champ and managed to get back up there and take home a really solid P3. And then P2 tonight, who is also our Autism Awareness Hard Charger Award winner, goes to the 38 of Thomas Harmon. Thomas did slip back a little bit. He started a little bit back as well. He only went +4 for the race, but it doesn't matter because he still takes the accolades of being the Autism Awareness Hard Charger Award winner. And he almost was in that talk for the win, but unfortunately just couldn't quite muster the effort that the 15 of Ken Campbell put into this race, especially those 25 laps where he's battling wheel to wheel with Kyle McCoy for the majority of it. And well done, Ken Campbell, for taking out what is a very, very auspicious victory here tonight. It was really great to see Ken up there and doing well. And he guaranteed me he was racing shirtless so he couldn't choke. But the man that everyone wants to see, the winner of the championship, the 05 of Scott Rickard, an audacious strategy to pit a little bit later than everyone else so he could get that one singular bonus point for leading a lap. And that one singular bonus point was what he needed to get over Jonathan Hernandez and take home the championship here tonight. Now, Jonathan Hernandez definitely put up a great fight. And for me personally, it sucks to see him not take it home. But Scott Rickard absolutely deserves it. He's put in the hard yards, and he's done everything he needed to do to stay consistent throughout the season and took home a really nice victory. But that is going to wrap things up for us here. Thank you all for coming in and tuning in this season. And we're going to take a 2 week break. And when we come back, we will have race number 1, season 2 of 2024. So, not sure what we're running just yet, but I know that the racing is going to be just as electric, if not more so, than this season that we just had. So, until then, I've been your commentator, the Aussie Sim commentator. We'll see you guys in season 2.